Shanti and welcome back to Ek Mulakat. As you may know, we bring a special guest to you each time. Our special guest today in this episode is Rajyogini Sister JANKI ji. She's from Bali, Indonesia, and she's been with the Brahma Kumaris for the past 35 years. So let's talk to her and find out what her spiritual journey has been like and find out the experiences that she has had on this journey. Didi, please welcome to the show.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. It's really wonderful to have you here today with us in our Godlywood studio. And we really want to know, you're currently in Bali, Indonesia.
That's right.
And it's such a beautiful place from what I've heard.
It is.
What is it like to be in that place? You grew up in Malaysia.
Yes.
And to be in Indonesia, what is it like? Is there any kind of cultural differences there, or is it kind of the same atmosphere as you had when you grew up?
Yes, each country is unique. The way of living, the belief systems, the customs, the way of thinking, is unique to each country. Mm-hmm. And every country is different from the other. But when we do not look at the differences, and we see the persons with whom we are interacting, we see the people whom we are with, they are people and they have the same feelings, they need the same love, they need the same cooperation, they need the same warmth, the same peace. So if we can just go beyond the external differences and interact with people like heart to heart or soul to soul, when there is this kind of real interaction, then we find that all people all over the world are the same. Even though there are differences in culture, differences in the way of thinking, differences in the way of believing things, but basically every human being, they, he, she, they need real peace, happiness. And this is what everyone is looking for.
That's very true because, if you asked anyone, regardless of what part of the world they are,
yes,
to name 3 things, people are going to say love, peace, and happiness. And that is like the common chord,
yes,
throughout the world. In terms of, Brahma Kumari knowledge, how did the people accept it? I mean, were they willing to take it up right away, or did they have any kind of confusion, or, what was your reaction?
People of today, they're looking for peace and happiness, but in wrong places. For example, they learn to earn, because they think that more earning, more money means more happiness. So, learning, studying to earn, and not to educate themselves how to adapt to different situations, how to adapt to different people, how to be tolerant with different kinds of characters. They've not learned these things, but they just learned how to get a good job, a big salary, and that's the aim of life. But eventually they find out that just money is not the only thing in life. So what are we looking for in this world that will really steer us towards a more settled, satisfied, peaceful life? So that's what we need to really check ourselves.
Your name has a resemblance to, the Rajyogini Dadi JANKI ji,
yes,
who's the administrative head of this organization. Have you had any kind of, upbringing or sustenance from her that you can talk to us about?
You see, my very first meeting with the Brahma Kumaris was with Daddy JANKI. Okay. And she was very happy to see me because she says, there's so many Brahma Kumaris all over the world, but you have my name. And so you must do well. You must maintain the dignity of my name. And I thought that was a very tall order. It is a tall order. But she has been my mentor, the person I really admire, her courage, her perseverance, her love, and the way she encompasses everybody to herself, her heart. So that love I felt from Daddy JANKI, and that keeps me going. And then the seniors, they are all also very supportive, they are very cooperative, they are understanding. So it's like a family working together. So there were no difficulties.
Who are in India, who are Brahma Kumaris sisters.
Yeah.
It's a different ball game for them because they are, in a culture that understands the religion, understands what Brahma Kumaris are talking about.
Yes.
But in your experience, what exactly, I should say, is the role of Brahma Kumaris in countries overseas that are like outside India?
Yes, you know that I'm in Indonesia, Muslim country. I was also born in Malaysia. It's a Muslim country. And character of people, they're two different things. So once people get together in a loving relationship, differences in belief systems, differences in customs, differences in the way of dressing, differences in the food, it doesn't really matter because there's variety, there is love, there is a common bond, a tie that brings man to man, people to people. And that's the bond Brahmakumaris really reach out to. They want to bond people as one global family. So everyone is a member of the global family. And if you can have this family feeling, it is good. And the way to go about it is slowly start building a relationship. Many people think a relationship is automatic. It is not. It is something that you work for. For example, a mother and a child takes care of the child, feeds the child, sees the child growing up, and the bondage, the bond that brings the mother and the child together is very strong and it is lifelong. So that relationship has been built over the years. In the same way, relationship between a husband and wife, okay, but they have to work together to be compatible. They have to work together to accept each other's good points and bad points. You know, all of us, we have our weaknesses, but it doesn't mean that we only have weaknesses, we have our good points.
Definitely.
So if we can sort of accept and tolerate and teach and learn, we grow.
Right.
So accepting people in a long-lasting relationship is maturity.
Other than the prescribed routine for Brahma Kumaris, which as I understand is, your morning meditation and your Murli class, do people come to the center with their personal problems? I mean, the reason I ask this is if they are comfortable with the Brahma Kumaris sisters at the center, then they will feel comfortable enough to walk in and talk to you about your problems, about their problems. So has that ever happened where people walk in? Because earlier you just mentioned about, child and mother relationship or spousal relationship. And all these kind of problems are very prevalent all over the world.
True.
So has that been your experience?
It is. It's very much so. Many people come to the Brahma Kumaris because they have some personal problems or grievances, sorrow, disease, some difficulties in relationships. They can't handle it. So they come to the Brahma Kumaris. They feel a certain kind of peace and they want to listen to some advice that can help them. So normally what we say is, learn to be peaceful. See yourself as being very strong. This difficulty that you're facing is one of the many things that come and go in your life. So it will pass away. So have patience, be loving, don't push away, don't neglect, but accept and face it in a graceful way. So give them that power and tell them they can do it. We all can do it. We never have situations where we cannot deal with the situations. But we need the courage to understand, to face, and to overcome it in a positive way so that we do not hurt other people in the process and we do not hurt ourselves. So it takes a kind of inner search, a little bit of silence. Maybe meditation helps a lot. Just to withdraw and see the self what kind of a position I'm in. Now, what outcome do I want from this situation? How do I want the outcome to be? And what is my role? How long is my role? Is it for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year? I am ready. So to prepare the self to face the situation in a very positive frame of mind and to accept it as one of the lessons to be learned in life.
Right.
Because we grow as we learn. We grow as we face.
It's really good to know that, they are trusting Brahma Kumaris enough that they're willing to walk in and talk to you about their personal problems.
Yes.
And that kind of really makes me feel that Brahma Kumari is doing a wonderful job there, because it's not that easy to talk to somebody about your personal problems. And if they're doing that, then that says a lot about Brahma Kumaris, the trust and the confidence that it has created in the public.
Because Brahma Kumaris is mostly based on feelings of acceptance, of love, of understanding, of sympathy. And these feelings, they're very warm and they attract like a magnet. And so when we can vibrate these feelings, and we are those feelings, not that we are just pretending to be, but it comes from the heart. And so that really touches people.
Yeah, people can tell the difference, the genuine affection and a pretense affection. I'm sure people can tell the difference right away.
Yes.
So that's really, really, really nice. I was wondering, are there any projects that you have taken with the local community in order to, maybe bring them in or like spread the message in a better way?
I think we have reached out to many, many people in Bali, different levels of people. We have gone to schools. We have spoken to school children about ethics, being kind to adults, not to be harsh towards their parents, not to shout at their parents, how to have limited time for their handphones or mobiles. We give them advice and we tell them why. For example, the mobile, the handphone, it's an instrument. And you're talking to an instrument, you're passing a message to an instrument, your focus is on the instrument, but you are a human being. So look at your mother and tell your mother, I love your cooking. Look at your mother and say, I'm going to school now. Or mother, I've come back from school. Learn to look at people. Learn to look at their eyes. Learn to look at their face. Learn to see their smile. Learn to see their warmth. So just don't tell your mother through your SMS that I'm back home and you're in your room and your mother is somewhere else. Keep that communication in the family so that the family is one unit, a united family.
These days, they're sending SMS to their mom saying, I'm home. And the mom is in the house herself?
The mom is in the house.
Oh, that's
And they
funny.
said, now don't disturb me. I'm in my room. I do not want to eat.
Oh, wow.
So it happens. So communication, person to person, is getting less and less. So if we can tell them that real relationships are with people, and then they have to be nice. Because if people are not nice, how do you feel? So do you want to hurt your mother who has brought you up? So do you want your mouth, the mouth that you're using, to speak words that are harsh? Are you happy to use your mouth in a negative way? You love your body. You love your mouth. You love your eyes. So see with sweetness. Speak with sweetness. Listen with sweetness. That's how you love yourself. So your body is an instrument for you to express your love, your warmth. So use your body in a proper way. If you get angry, you are not in love with yourself.
What is the message that Brahma Kumari gives in terms of bringing in peace and happiness in your life?
You see, Brahma Kumaris, they have a very noble mission. We are basically peaceful beings. So when we move away from the peace, our inner peace, when we move away, we get displaced, we get disturbed, we get diseased. So many people can't understand why they are unhappy, why they are not satisfied, why they are irritated. They can't understand themselves. So Brahma Kumaris tells them, in a very beautiful way, that basically, as children of the Almighty God, we basically are peaceful beings. And we have values in us. Love, happiness, purity. We have that in us. Now, if we don't use these values and we use negative traits, that will give us sorrow. Just imagine if I shouted at some person, what would my feeling be? At the moment I shouted at him, I might feel that I'm the boss, but after that I will feel low, because what I did was a negative action. So any negative action gives us a feeling of falling, of losing energy, of frustration, of failure. So the more we negligent about the way we react, like if we often get angry, or we are too bossy, or we are stressed, the more we hurt ourselves and we lose our energy. So to keep ourselves stable, unshakable, in peace, in happiness, in love, needs a little bit of introspection, a little bit of meditation, some prayer, some, things to churn about inside. Just to look at the self and see, am I doing okay? Am I all right? Where can I improve? What can I do to improve? Am I fair to people around me? Am I fair to myself? These questions we never ask. For example, in a family, they don't talk to each other. There are 5 members in the family, they don't talk to each other. One is reading the newspaper, the other is watching the TV, the other one is on the mobile, somebody else is reading and somebody else is jogging. They're all different people.
Activities.
They are not together. But can we keep them together at heart? That they understand, I have to return home by now, my mother will be waiting. Or I have to say something to my father. Or the father says, I must acknowledge my children. How did they do in school? So this kind of small changes, but they go a long way and they bind the family. And so once the family is united, then it's easy to see the unity in the society, school, students, teachers, and then in the workplace, boss and workers. So all these are like small units, and if they can work together, just keeping their peace with them, it goes a long way to change the world into a better place.
That's really beautifully said, sister. And I'm sure people who are watching us today are understanding all the love and the happiness that is the focus of the Brahma Kumaris. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being with us today, and we hope to see you again. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Friends, you heard Sister JANKI today. She gave us very important tips about how to improve the quality of our life. Don't spend too much time on the gadgets. If we can spend equal amount of time with our family, then that's going to go a long way in mending our relationships. She also talked to us about how we can bring peace and happiness in our life. With these words, we conclude our episode here today, and thank you for watching us. We hope to see you again in our next episode, where we bring a different guest to you. Until then, take care and Om Shanti.